So I see we've got a couple third grade teachers here. Awesome. Science curriculum coordinator, fifth grade. I love this. Perfect. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see. Can I get like a thumbs up? So everybody's seen my screen? Perfect. Okay. So again, my name's Lydia. A little background on me. I've been an informal educator for the last 7 or so years. I've worked at aquariums across the country, teaching in the aquarium, teaching in classrooms, traveling around to schools. And in 2019, I joined with state parks. So I had about a year with state parks before the pandemic hit. But surprisingly, my role didn't really change too much. And that kind of brings me to ports. And I would love to know from you all, how much do you know about ports? Has anybody heard of it before? You can like raise your hand or shout out or type in the chat. I'm all for conversation. Shelly knows nothing. Shelly, you're going to know so much later today. That is quite all right. Limited information. Well, you all are going to be ports experts by the end of today. So ports is actually an acronym for Parks Online Teachers for Parks Online Teachers, Parks Online Resources for teachers and students. We've been around for almost 20 years now. We've started in much more humble beginnings, but today we have many parks across California, in our state parks specifically, that provide distance learning programming and digital content for teachers, all free from the state of California. And I'm gonna see if I can play this little video here, just to give you a little preview kind of what we're all about. Oh, maybe it won't work. Hold on. Shield your eyes. Let's see, do I have to press control? There we go. Can you all hear it? No volume. I love that. So if you go to the link that I provided you, these slides, you can watch the video later. You'll get everything, all this information from me. But we're developed in response to issues with equitable access to California state parks. We identified that there are lots of barriers preventing teachers and students from coming to parks and learning about parks, whether that is a economic barrier, whether that's a geographical barrier. We wanted to be able to increase access to our K-12 audiences to really, I mean, it benefits you all in your classroom, but it really benefits us as well, because we are hopefully inspiring the next generation of environmental stewards who are going to work to protect our parks and these beautiful natural spaces that we have, and historical spaces as well. We really go from a digital first perspective, meaning if all of our resources are online, they're all digital. We do have some in-person options as well, and I'll talk about those a little bit later, but we also incorporate the digital aspect to those experiences as well. And all of our resources link students to expert resources, to park resources, and they're extremely engaging. And again, you know, we're delivering this educational content while also promoting our park values and hoping, you know, that we are inspiring this next generation of environmental stewards. And we have kind of a little bit of everything under the moon. We've got cultural resources, historical resources, science resources, all sorts of things. We've got 280 state parks in California. Not all 280 are part of the Ports program, just because of staffing and whatnot, but you know, that is always our goal. When I started in 2019, there were, I I think I remember the fall of 2019 boasting to teachers that we now had 26 programs, and we have much more than that today. So we've grown exponentially just in the last few years. But these are a couple of these are our main offerings from Ports. We have on-demand programming, which means you book a time with a presenter in one of those parks on a certain topic. Our presenters offer classes and programs. Some of them offer multiple different options. You book a time with them and they will come for a virtual field trip. They will come virtually to your classroom for free for typically about 45 minutes, and they'll have a one-on-one super engaging with your classroom experience where you can learn from a park expert and have a ton of fun learning about that park and learning about the resources and how it might apply to your curriculum. The second version of our Ports programming is called Ports Casts. These are live broadcasts that are open for any and all teachers and students, honestly, across the world, but we really market to California because we're a California state resource, to join in on at a specific time. So we offer different Portscasts every week. I send out emails every Friday advertising all of our new programs for the following week, and you can join if you're available at that time. A lot of them are also live streamed to YouTube, so you can watch them after the fact. So we've really increased the amount of options you have in bringing a park expert into your classroom for a live program. The next thing here is called Passports. We really love using the word ports and throwing it in anywhere we can. And there's even more to come with that. But Passports is our blended access field trip program, where for Title I schools, we will provide funding for transportation to parks if they complete a virtual field trip first. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But we also have tons of really cool digital resources. We have Wakelet and Padlets. We've got Smithsonian Learning Labs, 360 tours, curated videos, NGSS phenomenon banks. You name it, we've probably got something cool for you. And before I forget, we do these Portscasts every week. And next week, we're actually doing a really special one. If you are a science teacher, it might be of interest to you. We're going to have scuba divers. Actually, my background, I don't know if you can still see me right now, but my background is of Point Lobos State Natural Reserve and Point Lobos State Marine Reserve. And next Wednesday at 11 a.m., our scuba divers are going to go underwater with full face masks so they can actually talk to students live from underwater. So that's going to be a Portscast, so anybody can join in on that and learn from the divers a little bit about what they're seeing down there and a little bit about, what their role is as scuba divers and all of the tech that's involved and all sorts of fun stuff. So that's just a little shameless plug there. But yes, we have tons of really cool resources. Our bread and butter, we say, is our on-demand programming. That's really the most engaging, excellent experience you can have with us. But just some stats here from last year, we had over 55 parks that were joining us on the Ports team with, I want to say, definitely over 70 or so different programs to choose from. And those aren't even including the Portscasts, which are often fun and unique programs as well. We served over 300,000 K-12 audiences just in that school year. Since our start, almost 20 years ago, we have served over 1 million students. So we are excited for the next 300,000. We're excited for the next million. It's really an honor to be able to work with you all and share parks. But as I said, we've got tons of really cool resources that we work with. And one of those really great opportunities is Passports. And so here's another video here you can watch about a specific school that participated in a passports program where they learned virtually prior to coming to Refugio State Beach, and got to apply that learning once they got to the park. Now, I was a parks presenter for 3 years prior to taking on the role that I have now as a coordinator. I was actually in Anza Borrego Desert State Park, and I can say from experience that it is truly a just wonderful, wonderful feeling when you've taught these students a little bit about the park. I would teach them about geology and the animals that lived there and paleontology, all sorts of things. I would get them ready for what they were going to do. So, you know, the students that I worked with were from Imperial County, which is one of the poorest communities in California. Many of them had never been to the park. Many of them had never been for a hike before. And so I got them prepared for what to expect when they got there. So when they got to the park in person, they felt like they were ready to roll. They were noticing things that they saw on camera with me. They were noticing me thinking I was a famous person, and they were going out on the trails on their own with their chaperones and coming back saying, "I saw a metamorphic rock." And I was like, that is so cool. And I didn't teach them that while they were there in the park. I didn't have to sit there and have them listen to me for 30 minutes. I got to let them just explore and have fun. And they were able to apply the knowledge they already learned from me with a virtual field trip. So it's a super heartwarming moment for me. And it happens all across California in many of our parks, I should say. But our goals of this passports program is to really reimagine the school field trip, create sustainable, equitable avenues for student visits, and of course provide funding for schools to be able to participate in these trips. Increase awareness of and respect for California's natural environment. And that's not only just for the students, but also for the teachers as well. Definitely a barrier that we've identified is that not a lot of teachers really just know about what we have to offer and how they can be a part of this learning experience. Create these cool virtual and in-person experiences, and also create instructional resources. So we've worked with teachers in things called teacher symposiums, where we invite teachers from a certain area to come to a certain park. It's a one-day event typically. And half the day we spend having fun and having our own kind of field trip moment. And the other half of the day we spend building curriculum with teachers to make our curriculum or make our content and resources more relevant to you. And all of those curriculum, you know, we did the 5E lesson plans. All of those lesson plans are actually available online from teachers that, you know, made them at those symposiums. So it's a pretty cool opportunity. And we're always trying to build and kind of connect with you all to really understand what do you all need from us? You know, how can we benefit you, and how can we let all of our resources, you know, be known by all of you so that you can utilize them. So I'm going to kind of jump over here. Those are some of the things that we do with ports. We've got, you know, our on-demand, we've got our passports, we've got blended access, we've got tons of digital resources. And I feel like I'm probably just hitting the tip of the iceberg. If you go to our website, you're really going to be able to swim around in there and get lost in all of the opportunities, because there's a ton of information. There's tons of really great opportunities for you all to take advantage of. And everything is free, absolutely everything. But with me today, I'm a few minutes early, but hopefully we're ready to roll. I've got two friends that I brought with me from different parts of the state. I thought it would be fun to maybe have you all figure out where they're coming from today. So I'm going to first introduce Karen, and I'll stop my screen share really quickly. So Karen, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Lydia?
I'm doing excellent. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe sneak peek of where you are, or maybe some friends want to start guessing, or do you have any clues for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we set up this little game. All of my programs are very interactive, engaging. So our game today is Where in California is State Park Interpreter Karen Griffin. Behind me, you can see a bishop pine. That will be our first clue. So we've got Big Sur as one of the guesses. Monterey. Oh, I love this. Along the coast. Along the coast is correct. All right. So I'm going to bring out one of my, this is a video from last week, and it is Harbor Seal Nursing. This is happening just to the south of me at my park. Carmel, Sunset, Patrick Point. Man, these are all really good guesses, guys. All right, let me see. I'm going to give you another clue. This is this is one of our active tar seeps. We have tar seeps here. So that might narrow it down a little bit. This is let's see, Santa Cruz Reserve, Channel Islands. Oh, Channel Islands, we're getting closer. That's right. I can see a transverse mountain range, and I can see the Channel Islands from where I'm sitting right here. But the Channel Islands is a national park. So think of the coastline. This is one of the guys that lives in our this lives in our tide pools, and it's part of our tide pool program. This is a wavy turban snail, a giant wavy turban snail. We also have in our aquarium bat stars that the kids can see, that the students can see how their little tube feet work and how they get around, and also how they stick their stomach outside of their bodies in order to digest food. So this is a bat star digesting food. La Brea, we used to be right next to La Brea about 8 million years ago, but then we broke off and slammed back in. So we're a little north of La Brea now. Channel Islands. All right, it might be too hard to pinpoint exactly where I am, but you guys are really close. I am on a beach, and this is our sand up close. During my programming, we collect sand with the kids, and we virtually, we can look at the sand up close under a microscope, and this is what it looks like. It's the sand on my beach. Santa Barbara, oh my gosh, you are so close. Get in the car, get on the 101 freeway, and go 15 minutes south. You guys might get it. I don't know. And finally, this is one of the birds that I took a picture of while I was waiting for y'all. All right. We are going to find out where I am. This is Carpinteria State Beach. And this is where I do my ports programs from. And when I have schools, oh man, it's not letting me play. I guess video just isn't playing today. That's the glitch of the day, guys. I don't know if you guys knew that. But nope. Okay, yeah, we are at Carpinteria State Beach. That is my beach. Oh, here we go. There we go. And it's really cool here. We have lots of stuff that we can share with students. Lots of geology stuff. We've got active tar seeps. We have a transverse mountain range. We have, I do the story of sand with a rock cycle. So for example, when we're doing the story of sand, we really try to channel our inner John Green here. So SciShow. And instead of just talking about the rock cycle, we can go out, we have real life examples, and we can do interactive animations and talk the kids through not just what a rock cycle is, but we can use practical things that are in our park to show them, once we explain what it is, how you can immediately use that knowledge to unlock really fun experiences at our parks. Oh, that was me. Yeah. Let's see. There. And let me go ahead and show you guys, since I told you that we are at Carpinteria State Beach. Let me show you a part of our beach. Here we go. I'm just going to take you on a little tour like I would the students. This is my park. Oh, we'll turn this way. We've got sunbathers. Sometimes you can see dolphins up along the shoreline. And there you can see that we have tar seeps here, and we also have oil that's being harvested isn't the right word, but we have oil that's being collected out in our bay. That right there is our creek, which is really cool because we have lots of biodiversity and we get lots and lots of birds. So when I have the telephoto lens hooked up, we can get really close shots of our flocks. Right now, we have nesting endangered snowy plovers. Our programming follows next generation science standards. And we go by the classroom. We go by the grade. We have the programs up to the different grade levels. So for Explore the Shore, this is one of the ones where we can go through all of the different specimens that you can find at our park and talk about the different types of exoskeletons, endoskeletons, shells, calcium, the acidification of the ocean. We can really level it all the way down to TK. I have a background in Girl Scout counselor, so we can do repeat songs and stories for TK, and all the way up to high school, where we're collecting samples of water and we're looking at them under a microscope and seeing what kind of invertebrates we can find in there. And yeah, that is a little chocolate-sized sampler of my state park. Any questions? And they see the last thing in the chat was Morro Bay. Usually at the end of the programs, we do open it up to questions and answers. Anyone? Don't be shy. Oh, someone's typing. All right, Melody, this better be good. I'm really excited. Still, oh no, I scared. Oh, there we go. Love the beach, ready to go camping again. Absolutely. Where campgrounds just opened back up after our big rainstorms. And that was really fun. During the rainstorms, we got to show all of the debris that washed up on the ocean from our creek. And then we got to hide inside of our little visitor center and do a lot of interaction with our bat stars and our wavy turban snails. That's where that footage came from. So we have, even rain or shine, we can run programs here.
Cool. Well, thank you, Karen. I am, if you're willing to stick around, maybe we can open up for questions again, and I'll give you all some time to think of anything you want to know from Karen. Karen does programs almost every day from the park, sharing some really awesome things. But now we've got somebody a little different in a little different park that we're gonna go explore. So I am going to spotlight. I guess I'll unspotlight Karen here. Steve Yahelka. Steve, can you give us some clues as to where you are?
Oh, well, you can. So this, I thought it was pretty hilarious to see that there, Karen had, caught some sunbathers out in her park. That is not something I typically have to deal with. In fact, this is not a place that I would really be expecting to get much sun at all. I see big trees, and yes, we have some big trees, but not Calaveras big trees. This is also, this is a place where we, Muir. Well, we are a state park, but so let's see. I have taller trees than Muir, but we are not in not in Muir Woods. We are state parks, and this is a place I'm about. Well, this is a kind of a cool place. We get typically 40 inches of rain annually, and these trees are pretty well adapted. In fact, they are really dependent on the conditions of their environment. And that's one of the programs that I do. Oh, Humboldt area, Redwoods. We are honing in. We went too far south with Muir Woods. We went too far north with Humboldt Redwoods. I'm sorry, what was that last one that came through? Oh, Cal Big Trees. Yeah, Calaveras Big Trees is one of.
Oh, Steve, we just lost your audio. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Oh, am I back?
You just cut off for a second, but you're back. You're back.
All right. I see lots of good guesses. This is new. So
I think we might have to give it away.
Okay, yeah. It's pretty lesser known of a state park. I am in Hendywood State Park, home of the coast redwoods, these amazing trees. The coast redwoods. And yes, we talk all about the adaptations and anatomy of a redwood tree, where we get to explore. Yeah, beautiful area. I'm gonna give you guys a 360 view of this beautiful park. Here at Hendywood State Park, we have 845 acres of amazing forests and ecosystems to explore, but here we definitely focus on our coast redwoods. And we learn all about the adaptations of plants, well, the coast redwood to be specific. And we learn about how amazing these trees are as, well, climate champions. We explore everything from the root system all the way up to the massive trunk and up to the branches to talk about all the different ways that these trees store carbon and help us combat climate change. And then, of course, we always have lots of questions about the animals and the importance of this area as habitat. We do also talk a little bit about the human impact that has happened over the history of colonization of California following the gold rush and the logging era. Yeah, so lots to be learned out here. But it's really an amazing office. Yes, I don't get very much sun down here because, well, these trees definitely shade shade us below. So let's take a quick look towards the canopy. Well, watch out there. Sometimes I scroll too fast. Okay. So yes, these are the world's tallest living organisms, the coast redwoods. And so we learn in our adaptations and anatomy program about how these trees survive for over 2,000 years and reach heights of over 350 feet tall. Yeah, so if there are any questions, feel free to shoot now.
Steve, can you go hug that tree for us? I think it needs to happen.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I want to see your size next to it. Yeah, there you go. That's the money shot.
Yeah. All
Cool.
right. Yep.
Cool. Well, Steve, what grade levels do you typically teach?
So I teach the anatomies and adaptations programs are focused more for our younger students, and I mostly first through fifth grade for that program. But for a more advanced lesson, when we start to explore the redwood ecosystems interactions with our Earth cycles, that's gauged for anywhere between sixth and high school seniors. So all those programs though are adaptable to different age ranges. Yeah, so I definitely try to make it available, and we just might change the vocabulary, the amount of or the weight of the lesson, I guess to say. Yeah, all these programs are adaptable for multiple age ranges.
Great, and that is definitely true for. I'm going to add myself here. That's definitely true for many of our programs. Many of them are adaptable K through 12. I taught a program once actually for a group of college students that was typically a program I taught to second graders. So I was able to adapt that. And that's kind of what we as interpreters do. We really do a lot of stuff on the fly. And one of that is just knowing how to interact with all different grade levels. And I'll add Karen in here as well. Does anybody have any questions for us or for Karen and Steve before they go? I see a couple of questions coming in here. Steve and Karen, I'll ask you, do you have a favorite program that you teach, or is there a program elsewhere in state parks that you're really jealous of that you would love to teach one day?
Well, I'm a big tree nerd, so I would say that I would have loved to have ever had the opportunity to teach about the other big trees, the Calaveras Big Trees programs, and also I do love the snow, so that'd be a great park to explore and get out there for.
Absolutely. And we've got a couple of questions come in here, so I will relay those. Kathy's wondering, are there worksheets or written activities to go with your lessons?
Yeah, for us, I just did the Story of Sand Portscast, and it had a resource packet that went out with it that included things like the recipe for sand, which really just kind of goes through the geological time scale and the rock cycle. But it also had a little booklet that you could make where kids could follow along and take notes that went through all of the different things we discussed, as well as describing activities that you could do, like freezing beads inside of ice cubes and then letting it melt so you can kind of see how sand erodes, activities like that, and figuring out stratification using Play-Doh, different activity suggestions. That was with the Story of Sand program, and we try to make them for each program. Some of them are more robust than others because we are always adding and always developing our programs to make them better.
And I would say that is true for the entire state. Lots of programs have additional activities that can go along with them. Some have more, some have less. It depends on, you know, how long the program's been around and how much resources we've been able to put into those programs. But yes, that's definitely true. And I'm going to go to our next question, which is, do we also address careers within park systems? Have either of you ever done a program about careers?
Not yet.
I've had individual requests to shift the focus more towards careers before, and I have we're adaptable. If you have when you're reserving a program with us, you can definitely make those requests in like the notes in the comment section of your reservation form. And so yes, I've made those requests before, and it's been successful.
I've definitely also done that before. I did a fun career Jeopardy thing with a park ranger, myself, and an environmental scientist in our park. So we kind of talked about all the different types of careers because there's really so many different things we can do or students can grow up to do in parks. Another question is, what are the days/times we normally do our presentations? That is a great question. I will say it's typically in the mornings with some afternoon slots. It depends on the park. So some of our park presenters only are only doing these programs, and so they offer them, you know, all day long. Some park presenters also have other responsibilities within their park, and Ports is just a piece of what they do. So some offer more programs, some offer less, depends on the park. But usually somewhere between 8:30 and 2 p.m. is when our programming occurs. And for each program, I'll kind of go over how you can sign up for these programs. But each program has a forward-facing calendar, so you can go in and you can look and see what times are available, and you can book those for what times make most sense for you. Our next question is, when do program reservations open if we're interested in trying to connect with the Naturalist via virtual program? Currently, our spring programming is open. You can go onto our website and take a look at what programs are still currently available. Some of them have sold out, but there are definitely still available options. And those are available right now. For the fall, we don't open our registrations. I don't think we've officially announced it yet, but I assume it's going to be, this is VIP information, everybody. I assume it's going to be September 1st. That's what we've done the last few years. This year it's a Friday, and we usually do it at about 3 p.m. And we open that reservation, open the calendars for the fall semester, so September through December. And then in January, we're going to open it up for the spring so that teachers have more time to plan what's going on. Our interpreters have time to plan when they get to go for trainings and what their schedule is going to look like, so we don't have to cancel anything, and teachers don't, forget that they have programs scheduled the end of the school year. So that is going to be announced later in the summer for next year, but right now it can go up on our website. Let's see, where can we get a list of the offered programs so we can plan ahead to see what fits in our curriculum? That is a great question. Our website is the answer there. We actually are also creating a new website, some more VIP information that is going to be searchable and filterable. So if there's a certain topic that you're interested in, you can search that topic, and every single resource we have, whether it's a virtual program, a worksheet, a link to something, a video, all of that will pop up for your enjoyment. So we can currently, you can look on our website. We have topic pages. We have a list with a description of all the programs that is currently available. There's if you know a park maybe that you're interested in learning from, we have park pages where they house all of the resources that they have available. All of the programs they have available is all on there. So it's definitely a treasure trove of a website. And let's see, I'm going to send this to either Steve or Karen. Do you send materials and manipulatives prior to presentations so students can interact in real time with the presenter, or do we have to get them ourselves?
Well, so you can, there are definitely programs that go along with our, or definitely materials that go along for each program. You can check typically at the bottom of the reservation site. You can see what additional resources go along with that program. Yes, also I've had teachers also like reach out and they're like, these are what I'm really trying to, I've had teachers send me worksheets that they wanted me to hit all those notes on, and that works out great too. But I think like many of the 5E lesson plans are some of the best. And Karen, you have anything to add? Feel free.
Yeah. So we actually so we have a resource packet that we set out ahead of time, but also we're really good with communicating with the teachers. So it's not like you sign up from something and then it's like a black hole and then you turn on the presentation. We're really good with back and forth. And even like if let's say that your time slot is 1 to 2 and all of our programs are morning programs, if you contact us directly, we can usually figure something out within scheduling to accommodate you. And we specifically have a program called Explore Our Shore, which is just a wide open program. So if you contact us and you say, hey, we just got in the life cycle of monarchs, is that something you could help us with? We'd be able to like see with our resources of like, yeah, if you've got the material, we can work with you. And for stuff like I have a sand postcard. I have directions on how to make a postcard that includes your local sand and sending that out. And that sort of instructions and everything is sent out when you sign up for us.
Yeah, when you sign up on our website, you go through a scheduling platform called Acuity Scheduling. And as soon as you book your program, you get a confirmation message with the time and the link that you will join your program. We automatically send out Zoom links, but we call ourselves platform agnostic. Meaning if your school district cannot use Zoom, if you have to use Teams or Google or WebEx or whatever it is, we are also able to join your classroom just as easily. So that is no problem. But along with that, we also have the contact information for the presenter that you'll be working with, and any resources that they have. We link it in that email. You'll also get, I believe, 2 other reminder emails with all that same information. So everything is automatically sent out to you, but we don't necessarily require for any of our programs that I know of to, do additional, use additional resources with our programs. They can be standalone, and you can dive deeper into them with additional resources. And then the last question that I see here is, can 2 teachers share the same program? That is a great question. The answer is yes, but I'll share some more thoughts there. If it's one classroom with one presenter, it tends to be more engaging. It's a lot easier on our presenters to be able to interact with that one room and have that one teacher be able to kind of handle, the classroom management aspect of it for our presenters. Our presenters are trained, so they are pretty good at managing these classrooms virtually, but it's always just so helpful when we have teachers that are present and on it with us. I have taught classes for multiple groups before, especially because our programs are pretty competitive, especially in the fall. Our programs book pretty quickly. So we often have teachers that say, hey, my coworker couldn't get a slot. Can she join my class? And we say, yeah, absolutely. We're not in the business of denying students an option or an opportunity to participate in our programs. But if you're able to sign up for separate programs, it often ends up being a more engaging, fun experience for them. But we're perfectly prepared to do multiple classrooms. We recommend that if you do join with multiple classrooms, each classroom joins in the same way. So we recommend just having one device projected into the classroom and all of the students focusing on that device instead of students on individual devices. If you're a virtual school, obviously for individual devices is how it's going to go. And if you want to do that, then we recommend every class does the same thing, just to make it a little bit easier on our presenters to figure out, who's who, and we'll have the teachers be the ones deciding who to call on and unmute themselves or use the chat. However you guys do it is, we're trained and adaptable to that. So yes, but if you have the opportunity to just do one-on-one, that's a great experience. Perfect. I think those are all the questions. I'm just going to pull up my screen really quickly to share some last minute thoughts, and feel free to keep typing in questions while I'm doing this. But next step for you all is to visit our website. It's ports-ca.us. That may or may not be changing in the summer, but for now, this will work for you. I also recommend joining our mailing list. I send out emails every Friday about our Portscast opportunities, and I sometimes will highlight a certain on-demand program that's really awesome. If there are any really cool events happening, I share that information out. You will be the first to know, when our registration will open. It's kind of a great way to just stay up to date with all of our offerings. And of course, you have my contact information here as well. But wait, there's more. If any of you are 4th grade teachers, or if any of you have a 4th grader in your family, or just know of a 4th grader, 4th graders currently can get into 19 of our California state parks for free. This is a pilot program based off of the National Park Program. We've got 19 different parks scattered across the state. So they get free day use with their families to those parks. So it's not necessarily a school program offering, but it's a public offering for fourth graders and their families. But if you're a fourth grade teacher, definitely an awesome thing to send home with your students. And if you don't know a fourth grader, don't teach fourth grade, don't have any fourth graders, and you want to come visit state parks, or you want your students to be able to, we also have a state parks library pass where you can actually check out a pass from your local library to come visit our, I think, 280 state parks. So there's lots and lots of options for you to visit. And yes, I don't think I see any other questions. So I think Angela's still here and wants to say anything. I think that is all from us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the amazing resources, information. I was like super excited to see, live what you guys have to offer, because I've always, during the preparing for this session, I was like looking up your website, and I was like super excited to see all the programs, but it's different from seeing it up and personal here with you guys, what it is like. So excited to hopefully have teachers participate in the program. And if any of you have ports in your classroom, make sure you invite me to come over and be part of the fun too. But thank you guys so much for your time, resources, and I guess that's all for us here today. I will go ahead and share the survey link here in our chat for our participants to go through and answer just a few questions here. But that's all for us. And, thank you so much again. And have a great rest of your day. Oh, yeah, and Lydia, one last thing. Yeah. Do you mind sharing the slide deck so I can share the resources with our teachers, the mailing list link and all that stuff?
Yes, I've put it in the chat. I'll put it in one more time. So you guys have access to all that. You can watch all those videos and sign up for our mailing list for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I hope to see you all, connecting with our state parks. It really is truly just such an incredible opportunity. I'm very proud to be a part of this program, and I look forward to meeting all of your students.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Thank
Just
you.
really quick,
Bye.
Lydia, the free for fourth graders, doesn't matter when, even if it's during the summer, it's still good?
I believe it starts. Steve, you want to answer that?
So if you're currently teaching fourth grade, the cycles all the way into midsummer in July. But like if you got third graders, it's a great time to get them ready to get their pass in July. So yes, and Hendy Woods is one of those parks.
If you look on the website, I was thinking it was actually August like 31st, but maybe it's July something is when it's this new year starts. So it starts in the summer, kind of ends in the summer deal.
There's a question about, do students need school ID? No, it's a very simple process. It's the parents get enter in their email and I think just some basic information about where you're living, and it's all California students can get that pass, but it's applied to, or it's acquired from the parent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. A question about your blended program.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you provide funding for transportation. Is there like a limit as far as the distance that students can participate, like as far as field trips goes?
I believe no. We have done we try to link them up with parks that are in their local area. That kind of makes the most sense for the experience for the students. But we have had students from Los Angeles travel, all the way up to La Purísima, which is north of Caron, at Carpinteria. And that was like, I think they had to stay overnight. So that was kind of a special trip. But I've had students, being in such remote parks, sometimes we kind of just expect that these students are going to be coming from a couple hours away. So for that, if you go to our website and look under our passports resources or our in-person resources, you should be able to set up a consultation. That's kind of the first step, is you set up a consultation with our colleague, Cara Liu, and she will talk to you about what you are learning in your classroom, what field trip makes the most sense to you. You can talk about where you want to go, and she'll coordinate with the parks and with you to make that happen.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Bye. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.